Here are 13 rags to riches stories. Number 13, Jim Carrey. Comedian Jim Carrey came from poor beginnings, even having to live with his family in a Volkswagen bus after his father lost his job. He was performing stand-up as young as 15 and worked as a janitor until he got to open for big comedy names like Rodney Dangerfield. His big break came when he landed in Living Color, a popular 90s sketch show on Fox. More films such as The Mask and Ace Ventura followed, and he also won acclaim for dramatic roles in the movies The Truman Show and Man on the Moon. Eventually, he commanded $20 million per movie. Now he's reportedly worth $150 million. Number 12, Joy Mangano. You may not know Joy Mangano's name, but you likely know her inventions. An inventor and home shopping queen, Joy Mangano was a divorced mom of 3 kids in 1990, working as a waitress on the weekends to pay her bills. Her frustration at cleaning her home led to develop the Miracle Mop, a cotton self-wringing mop. After appearing on the Home Shopping Network in 1992 to show off her product, she sold more than 18,000 mops in the first hour of the program. By 1995, she had sold more than $1 million in mops and now operates in a 50,000 square foot factory. Christmas Day 2015, we will see the release of Joy, a film based on her road to success. Number 11, Ralph Lauren. Born the child of Jewish immigrants in 1939, Ralph Lauren was born Ralph Lifshitz and changed his name during high school. After leaving college and the Army, he began working in retail fashion, then designing his own necktie line in 1967. The ties, branded as Polo, were sold at stores like Bloomingdale's, and after a business loan, he launched his menswear line. A women's wear line followed, and in 1988, Lauren opened the first flagship on Madison Avenue. His empire is worth an estimated $6 billion. Number 10, Ursula Burns. Ursula Burns overcame a childhood spent in New York City's Lower East Side projects to be named one of Forbes' most powerful women in the world. She dreamed of becoming an engineer, and she received a spot in the freshman class of Brooklyn Polytechnic Institute. After finishing her master's degree at Columbia, she took an intern position at Xerox and rose through the ranks to become an executive assistant, VP of Global Manufacturing, and finally, CEO of the company. She earned a reported $13 million in salary in the year 2012. She continues to work as CEO and chairman of Xerox. Number 9, Steve Jobs. The founder of Apple was once a college dropout who slept on friends' couches and collected soda bottles for the recycling deposit. He founded Apple Computer at the age of 21 in 1976 with friend Steve Wozniak, with the two selling off their beloved possessions to fund it. At first, they sold the Apple I personal computer kit, then expanded to sell Apple II in 1977, growing from a yearly sale amount of $775,000 to $118 million by 1980. 4 years later, they released the Macintosh personal computer, followed by other digital products. The company's stock hit an all-time high in October 2010 at $300 a share. and by 2012, the company was valued at $624 billion. He died in 2011 with a reported worth of billions. Number 8. Walt Disney. It was all started by a mouse. After Walt Disney opened his first studio in 1922 in Kansas City, he filed for bankruptcy a year later. He traveled to Hollywood by train with $40 in his pocket and a reel of one of his animated shorts. He and his brother Roy opened a new studio, only to lose the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit after producing shorts about the character. He was then inspired to create Mickey Mouse after a pet mouse from a former studio and released the first Mickey short, Steamboat Willie, in 1928. More Mickey shorts followed as his foray into a full-length animated movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, in 1937. Several years later, he began plans for Disneyland, started making television shows, and the rest is history. Number 7. Oprah. The Queen of Media is one of the richest people in the world, but began life as the child of a teen mother in Mississippi in 1954. Her work in the broadcast industry started with a job at a radio station as a teen, followed by jobs as a news anchor in Tennessee and Baltimore. In Baltimore, she was the co-host of a talk show, an anchor, and a news reporter, and soon was invited to host AM Chicago, a struggling talk show. After she took over, the show won the #1 talk show and, expanding from 30 minutes to an hour, undergoing a renaming in 1985 to become The Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah soon opened her own production company, Harpo Productions, and the show won 3 Daytime Emmy Awards in 1987. Her appearance in the film The Color Purple won an Oscar nomination and a Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress. Her media empire continued with an Oprah magazine, the Oprah Book Club, Oxygen Media, and multiple made-for-TV movies. Forbes estimates she's now worth $3 billion. Number 6. Richard Branson. Richard Branson dropped out of school at 16, and many warned him he was on the path to prison. Instead, the budding entrepreneur founded a student magazine, selling $8,000 worth of advertising for its first issue, which launched in 1966. In 1969, he recreated a mail-order record company he called Virgin and grew it into a retail store in London, the profits of which helped him build a recording studio, signing a series of artists including the Sex Pistols, Culture Club, and the Rolling Stones. The 1980s saw Branson launch a travel company, an airline, and the Virgin Megastores chain. Due to struggling sales, he sold Virgin Records in 1992 for $1 billion, a transaction he says he cried over. Undaunted, he established Virgin Radio and Virgin Group, who would go on to own more than 200 companies throughout the world, with businesses that include trains, mobile phone gaming, and space travel. Number 5. John Paul DeJoria. John Paul DeJoria sold Christmas cards and newspapers to support his single mother and even lived in a foster home for a short period of time. In his youth, he joined street gangs in the lower income areas of Los Angeles. After graduating high school, though, he straightened up, attended college, and the Navy. DeJoria then worked a series of jobs to make money going door to door to sell encyclopedias, repairing bicycles, and working at the gas pumps. At the time, he came up with John Paul Mitchell Systems with a partner. He was homeless and living in a car with his young son. He sold the products for 2 years door to door. And now the company makes $1 billion in sales annually. Hora also owns Patron, the renowned tequila company, and makes millions on that as well. Number 4. Andrew Carnegie. There are multiple buildings bearing the name Carnegie in the world today, but Andrew Carnegie was once the son of a poor weaver, watching his family struggle in a one-room house in their native Scotland. After his family immigrated to America for a better life, Carnegie became a telegraph operator for the Pennsylvania Railroad, eventually becoming the superintendent of the Pittsburgh Division. He started investing in railroads, bridges, oil derricks, and later founded several ironwork companies, finding fortune in the steelwork industry. In the 18 years before his death, he gave away $350 million, a sum that would be $13.7 billion today. Number 3. Sam Walton. As a child, the former founder of Walmart delivered newspapers and milked the family cow to help his family make ends meet. After a stint in the military, he bought his first Ben Franklin store in 1945 with a loan from his father-in-law, eventually purchasing 15 more stores. He wanted to open more stores in rural areas, but the chain management disagreed with him. So, in 1962, he decided to open the first Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas. 30 years later, Walmart was worth $45 billion. Number 2. J.K. Rowling. The author of Harry Potter was once a single mother living on welfare. Jobless with a child to care for, she began teaching and working on her novel in cafes while her baby slept. She convinced the publisher Bloomsbury to take a chance on her book, but her editor warned she was unlikely to make money writing children's books. Once readers met the boy wizard, she became a multi-millionaire in just 5 years. Number 1. Larry Ellison. Born to an unwed mother and given away for adoption, Larry Ellison has been ranked as the 5th richest man in the world. He attended college off and on, never fully completing his studies, and in 1977 decided to form a software company with 2 people and $2,000. That company would become Oracle Systems Corporation, creator of the Oracle database. The database took off, and Ellison enjoyed the success of the company. He then went on to purchase other software companies, as well as make investments in Salesforce.com, NetSuite, and Astix Pharmaceuticals. His success and continued innovation make him worth about $36.5 billion.